What a wonderful phrase. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? My name is Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Special guest, we got our cat, guys. His name is Bruce. Funny story, backstory real quick. We thought it was a girl.
No.
At one point.
No. Bruce, we
thought it was a
we adopted
boy.
him as a boy.
Yeah.
But it turns out the adoption agency lied to us.
Yep, so it was a girl.
It's a girl. Yeah, two girls. Got them in Bruce, and they love
so that's
each
one of
other.
our cat guys. Yeah, oh yeah. So we had to do that, guys. Show us some love on the comments down below and give us a thumbs up in our review, guys. Let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. The most anticipated movie of the summer, the one that we've been waiting for ever since they announced it, and I've been a huge fan of it. I mean, we both have been a huge fan of this, and The Lion King, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Lion King, the live-action Lion King movie review, ladies and gentlemen, and to know that we actually got 30 minutes of extra footage of this was truly good. I really did enjoy it. And we'll mention spoilers at the very end, but it's not really spoilers per se. I guess we'll just mention like the couple of the scenes that, you know, we talked about and everything. So if you don't want to talk about spoilers or anything like that, be sure to change it. I'll let y'all know when, guys. So let's get right to it, man. I mean, so this movie, just right off the bat, I loved how it was so realistic. Oh my gosh.
So you like that hyper realistic animation?
It was
CGI.
so phenomenal. Like I literally, John Favreau, like he literally like studied Africa and studied the whole
he did the same thing with Jungle Book. Like it brought it to life, like super hyper realistic CGI. That's just like you literally feel like you're in the same room or in the same area as these animals. And it's awesome. And
to see Hans Zimmer also with the soundtrack, but we'll go into the soundtrack a little bit later. But I'm just going as we go. Like it just Hans Zimmer, wow. To see him again, I'm just like redoing what he did music, before. Like I'm just like, okay, that's awesome. What the heck? You know, I'm going to say this, though, is that, you know, just the realistic of this was just phenomenal. The whiskers of the animals, everything, the way the wind was just touching their fur, everything was so realistic. Even when the rain came in the very climax of the movie, even when the rain came, when they were wet, oh my God, it was spot on. Their hair was down. Some of their hair was down. It was so spot on. Like, it really was when it comes to geography. And the geography of this movie was so on point.
Right.
Like, yes, like, it was so great, fantastic, stunning graphics. I mean, just phenomenal. John Favreau, like you are, wow, you know what you're doing over there at Walt Disney World Studios. And you know, when we first got into the beginning of this movie, when the logo of Walt Disney World, did you know there was a slight change there? It was this little slight, it was like more detailed. It looked like a more realistic Walt Disney. It's almost like it was a more detailed Walt Disney World castle.
They did revamp the castle intro, so you could see more detail. It's not just a castle. It's like a castle, part of a village or a town.
I don't know if that's just for that movie, because you know they do change the castles every now and then for each movie. Because I didn't see that in Aladdin, so we'll find out in the next Disney movie comes out next month. We'll find out if that's the original logo. But I think it's just they just changed it up for this.
I think they did, but I don't see how that fit with this movie.
Maybe it was just more realistic, because that's what I got out of it. It was just more. It was more detail. You get to see more spot on detail of this,
which is fine. But like as you mentioned, each movie has kind of changed the castle to kind of fit in the movie. Sometimes it didn't really fit in for this with me, but it doesn't matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were such a huge fan of this cast. Like, this is phenomenal. I mean, everyone was spot on here at the Alamo City Movie Talk Studios. Was spot on with this cast. It was a phenomenal cast. I mean, just to get Beyonce, Donald Glover. I mean, we could go on and on. John Oliver. Like, of course, James Earl Jones. We got to get him. Right? I mean, no one else can play Mufasa's voice besides Mufasa.
I think I agree with that. I'm glad that he was cast as Mufasa, because no one would have, at least in my opinion, I don't think anyone would have. Like, those are big shoes to fill. Yeah, I don't think that would have been possible. You can't see it like us 90s babies, people who grew up with the cartoon, just kind of know how powerful, how classic his voice is, and I'm super glad he came back for this one. And
he's not known. I mean, even when I was a kid growing up, it was just like the sound. Like, we saw him in the. I mean, I've seen him in so many movies, and it just he's phenomenal. Voice is on point. So, and then also we get a lot of good actors in here as well. Keegan Michael Key. Yeah, Keegan Michael Key. How you say it?
Keegan Michael Key.
I'm really bad with names. I'm good with faces, but bad with names.
Super funny. I recognize him right off the bat. His humor is the same, and I love it.
And it's funny because it's awesome when you get to know a certain point of how do you say comic or comedy. When you could tell, even though you don't see them, like it's not live action, it's not an actual actor, you could still tell by the voice, and you know it's him. And
I think it's also the style of comedy. Like you can recognize certain people by the style of comedy. Like for example, you can recognize Kevin Hart. He has the same style of comedy throughout all the movies he's done, even as animation. It's the same thing. You can recognize Keegan Michael Key in Toy Story.
I prefer his comedy more than Kevin Hart. I'll say that.
No, I'm not saying it's one is better than the other. I'm just saying it's the same kind of concept. Like I recognized him in Toy Story. I recognized him in this one right away. Mm-hmm. He still has that same little jab.
Keanu?
Oh, Keanu is so funny. Key and Peele, the show is so hilarious.
Yeah, that's a great show right there, guys. And also we did get this was an A-list cast. We got so much music in here, so much life literally in this movie. And to go into detail of this, I'm just like, Pride Rock was phenomenal. I loved every bit of it. So for the beginning of this movie, it does start off, it's pretty much almost point to point.
Yes, it is. It's shot for shot, pretty much.
Except they put in a little bit of jokes and they added a little bit more life into this movie, I would say. When I mean live, I mean like, when I'll give you an example, guys. It's not I guess you could call it a spoiler. Whenever Timon and Pumbaa were singing, the other animals came in, which I loved though, because I was just like, wow, this is pretty good.
They changed it up.
Yeah, it changed it up a little bit, which I don't mind them doing that. And because the thing is with me with remakes, I'm just like, it's just why are you doing it? But I get why you're doing it. But
I always feel like remakes have that struggle. So you have the fans. We have this fan base. Well, we have this fan base that is, we love Lion King. We know it, backwards and forwards. So it's kind of a struggle because you don't want to do a shot for shot exactly the same as that cartoon, because it would get boring. It's so predictable. But it also, at the same time, it's hard to make changes because you don't know if the fan will accept them.
See, another example that we could give that really was shot for shot, which I was not, I wouldn't say I was really disappointed. I was disappointed. I was a little disappointed was with Beauty and the Beast. It was literally shot for shot. Like it was like 5 minutes. Like it was not 5 or 10 minutes scenes that were like extra. But with this one, they add a little bit more humor of the adult humor, I guess. It's almost okay. So like just we're going into a sense to where like when we were kids watching this movie. Now, like we don't have kids, but I'm pretty sure people around our age have kids, and they're sharing this emotional experience with this. And this is a really emotional movie for me. I know I'm pretty sure it is for you. It's a very emotional. So when that Circle of Life song came on, it was really emotional, a hard hitter for me. It's just, I really did share, because I shared this experience a lot with my mother and then my grandmother, who she passed away, rest in peace. And it was just so emotional for me. I was just trying to hold it all in. I was just like, hold it all in. But
yes, me too. I didn't want to bawl like ugly crying in the theater, but I liked that. Out of all of it, yes, for most part it is, exactly the way the cartoon is, with some changes. But I'm glad they kept the intro, the Circle of Life, exactly shot for shot. Well, pretty much. Except they did do a little nod to it. They added more. More realistic, without trying to show. They did add a little more realistic to it. Like it was just more calmer, I guess, before it started coming out. Like it just it had a little pause in the beginning, which I really did like. I appreciated that small pause right before the sunrise,
because it shows like the environment, it shows everything, what creativity they really did into this movie, and it was phenomenal. Now we could probably go on and on about the geography, so let's talk about this. Just the storyline, of course, is literally the same storyline. There's not a change whatsoever to it. I'm gonna say for this being a remake and everything, obviously this is, I'm okay with this. I really am. This was a really good movie, a solid film, and same thing with just, it's very different. Aladdin was a different case. Mulan's gonna be a different case. This movie's a different case. They're all going to be different cases in their certain point of views, because they're all different original movies, and everyone cherishes these movies each in a different way. Some of them love The Lion King more. Some of them love Mulan. Some of them love Frozen now. Some of them love they just I could go on and on about Disney movies. Monsters Inc. If they remake Monsters Inc. realistic, how it could be more, but regardless, they're not making that, by the way. But just when it comes down to it, I'm just like, okay, do we really need a remake? But then when they start announcing this cast, I was just like, all right, never mind.
So how did you feel? Like, how did you feel Donald Glover? Okay, so the two main ones, Simba and Nala, adults.
Yeah, Donald Glover and
Beyonce. How do you feel they did?
Let's talk about that. So with this movie and everything, when they did the voices, I actually didn't mind it. To be honest, though, we didn't really hear too much Beyonce dialogue in this. But we heard her in the songs. When I mean we heard her, I mean she was kind of. I mean, this could be a point of view, guys, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not criticizing anything because they all. First off, I do want to recognize all the music was phenomenal, amazing music, really great music. They really did their hearts into it, and it was just really mind blowing. And I loved it so much. I really did love the music, and it was. But in a sense, though. These movies, these remakes, they're all going. Aladdin is a perfect example. They're all going towards a Broadway. When the Aladdin came out, they announced their Broadway tour, like the Aladdin Broadway tour. It's going to make it more of not of the original cartoon, but more of the actual remake because that's what they marketed it as. This one, the exact same thing with the music. I'm just like, it just sounds more and more like a Broadway musical. Not to say that the other original is not a Broadway musical, but to say like it was just more of a. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just a more of a musical, a Broadway musical. I felt like with this realistically.
For me, who loves Broadway musicals, I liked.
And you have seen the Lion King Broadway musical, correct?
Yes, I have seen the musical, and it's amazing. And it better come to San Antonio again soon. No, but I like the performance. You're not just. It's not just a cartoon with creatures singing.
These are artists. It's
a performance. So I liked the small differences in the song. Now, I will say that, and I will say we will get back to one song in particular. But going back to original point, how you said you heard Beyonce, I felt like you're right. She didn't have too much dialogue as Nala, but whenever she did sing, you could tell she has the same presence when she performs. She's just so fabulous, so dominating in her performance. She has such a dominating presence. Like you cannot not hear Beyonce. And as much as I love her, she was a little, in my opinion, overpowering in the songs, especially with Donald Glover.
So with the song we were talking about, can you feel
the love tonight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, can you hear the love? Can you feel the love tonight? That song in particular was really Beyonce was overpowering Donald Glover, and let's be honest. I mean, everyone can take it a certain point of view, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you thought that it wasn't. It was even. But for us, I really did feel like, and we're on point on it. I mean, we're both in agreement to this. It really did feel like Beyonce had a stronger voice in this, and she was doing more harmony. She was doing more like just the harmony. I'm not gonna do it because I can't do it, but obviously I can't sing. But she was more of a stronger harmony into it, and but I will give nod to Donald Glover. Oh my gosh, that boy! I mean, if we don't know from Atlanta show, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, he is a great performer. He's a great artist. Singer. I mean, wow! Like when he was doing the Hakuna Matata when Timon and Pumbaa first found him, that scene alone was so great because I loved how the realistic of it. Like it was just, I loved how they found him and then how just the song started. It really started natural. It didn't feel like rushed or anything. It was a real natural feel. And then when he turned into to actual Simba, at the very end, he was doing his harmony. I was all like, oh man, this boy can sing. I'm just like, woo, take me to church, man. Take me to church. The gospel. I don't know if you've seen the gospel movie, but that's another good movie right there. But yeah, it was just like, wow. Like it's just, I was really phenomenal with this. It was a really good, solid performance. But yeah, so we in agreement on that, right? So Beyonce was a little overpowering a little bit.
Yeah, so I felt, especially in that song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, I felt like she was trying really hard to hold back a little bit. Yeah. Because she has a very strong voice.
She is.
And she can sing.
I mean, we've known,
But at the same time, I felt like Donald Glover, he can sing, but I was having a hard time hearing him. And he has such a nice voice. Yeah. So it was just that balance, but it wasn't a deal breaker. Yeah, they both sang lovely. Yeah. They both sang their parts well. Mm-hmm. When it transitioned to other songs, they sang really well. I mean, I just love that soundtrack. Yeah. But that was my thing that I kind of noticed right away.
Exactly, and I will say this too. I mean, I loved also how Seth Rogen was singing, and all that good stuff. Now, going into now we're talking about the music. Now, the one that played Scar, I have a really bad pronunciation of his name. I guess the
Chiwetel.
Chiwetel. 12 Years a Slave. Put on the comment. I do apologize. I'm really bad with names. From 12 Years a Slave. He's phenomenal
he is
performance.
A darn good actor.
Yeah.
He has a good repertoire.
Oh, yeah.
He has phenomenal performance.
Now, to hear the song "Be Prepared," spoiler, it's only like a 2-minute song.
And for me, when you say the direction of the soundtrack is going to more of a Broadway perspective, so to speak, having that song shortened the way it is and performed the way it is, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, in the cartoon, he's just with the hyenas and he breaks out into song and all the hyenas do their dancing. They're dancing, they're marching.
Not dancing, they're marching, I'm sorry, yeah.
They're marching. So
dancing.
If you were to copy that scene for scene into the new one, it wouldn't make sense.
See, I'm okay with it, but I'm not okay with it. It's just I'm on the fence. I'm just it could have been better because I'm all be prepared.
I think it's just everyone loves that villain song and they just wanted more. Now, I would say he performed that spectacularly. He did very well.
See, the voice, I am on board with his voice because he's a great actor. And to know this, though, another thing that a lot of critics are criticizing, now I'm jumping another topic, a lot of critics are criticizing is that the realistic, because I saw a lot of reviews, the realistic of this, when I mean realistic of the emotions, the realistic of the emotions of the lions, and the lions really did not show any emotion, especially Scar and Mufasa, only when a natural lion, when they would touch each other,
so that was the thing. They put
their scent on each other, right? And then
that was the thing I do regret going into this. I did read some reviews online that a lot of critics did mention that with this hyper realistic CGI, that lions don't show as much emotion as the cartoon, and really you can't compare cartoon to this. I mean,
you can't really have them busting into tears.
You can't have lions crying. But again, I can see where it is. In particularly, it was. I kept focusing. I went into this film knowing that was something a lot of people were commenting on. So that's what I super focused on. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I couldn't not unsee that. How do you say? It was especially bad for Mufasa and Scar. I felt like Simba and Nala showed more emotion. Mm-hmm. Even Sarabi. Yeah. But I just couldn't. Mufasa and Scar, they didn't show as much emotion as I would have liked.
See, and the thing that really gets us 90 babies is that, of course, the Mufasa face, whenever he realizes that he's about to die, he's about to get betrayed by his own brother, that face of just betrayal, shock, and his natural, not natural, but his, the cartoon face. But then again, I'm just okay, I'm on the fence on this really, and I'm just it's an emotional time, but they're not showing any emotions. But then again, it's a live action, so I have to be what do you want, guys? Ladies and gentlemen,
what are your comments on that?
Put us in the comments down below. Yeah.
Did you notice it? Did it bother you as much?
Yeah.
Because for me, in that scene particularly, where Mufasa is holding on for dear life on top of the stampede, and he asks Scar help, that shows emotion. Mm-hmm. But it was the scene where he's falling into the stampede after Scar has kind of essentially pushed him. Mm-hmm. That doesn't. It just loses that effect because of that lack of emotion.
Exactly, I'll say that. Just a lot of emotions were running. Emotionally, you as a person and everything. When you watch this movie, you're just emotion. But then you don't see the. I don't want to say actors, but when you don't see the on screen, characters performing emotion, you're just what? Like, you're just like, are we on the same page here? Like,
again, it's not a deal breaker. Like I said, I still cried at that scene because of Simba's face.
I expected that though. I was just like, I mean, can you really make lions cry? Do lions really cry? And that was the thing here that I really did admire and I really did love was how when it comes down to it, the realistic of this, they really did pay attention to lions and they were really focusing and studying lions, how they move. I loved everything about that because when they were moving, their emotions, their tails, everything was on point.
And that was, and going back to what you were saying about how the emotions were when they like rubbed scent on each other. Yeah. It was more like a mannerism. Like that's the characteristics of how lions act. So whenever they're in the presence of their pride, they rub scents, they do all those mannerisms.
And pretty much it was just like Animal Planet, like in a sense. But yeah, so was this the film that we needed?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you there. And here's the thing I'm always going to say when it comes to remakes or sequels, I always give this motto, is that, like, you always have the original. I mean, you don't like this one, then you Beauty and the Beast, the remake. I didn't mind Hermione Granger. I didn't mind Emma Watson. I didn't mind Emma Watson in this, but I'm just like, I loved during it, but it wasn't a good movie as Beauty and the Beast was, the original. So that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't like the remakes, you always have the originals. Watch the originals. Don't buy the remakes. Watch the originals. Same thing with sequels. You don't like the sequel? Screw the sequel. Watch the originals. Maybe you don't like the originals, maybe you like the sequel better. Watch the sequel. Like, it just, there's so many options to this, and I love it because I love it when filmmakers make different options for us because that's what it's all about. It's all about making movies. This is a work of art, ladies and gentlemen. Every film is a work of art, and that's why we're able to do it. We're able to criticize it or critique it, criticize it. Oh my god! All y'all do is talk of criticism. That's it. Worst channel ever. No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so you know what? I'm so excited right now. So, was this the film that we deserved?
Yes.
I'm going to agree with you there. Yes. I am totally on board for this.
As much as we're kind of as Disney's jumping into that remake pool, I feel like this is one they definitely should have remade. There's some movies, like you said, Monsters Inc., that are like, how would it work logistically?
It could.
It could, but this one, for sure. I think a lot of the classics.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, Mulan, Little Mermaid, all this stuff.
And this one is so strong of a movie. It's a really strong presence. And everyone, right after the Circle of Life played in the Alamo, we went to go see the Alamo Draft House. Thanks, Alamo Draft House, for the glasses, by the way, guys. You know, I am going to say this, is that I really did love how everyone clapped. Literally, everyone clapped right after the Circle of Life, a little bit, like a little nod. And then right when the movie started, everyone got quiet. I love that, because I was just like, the movie. I hope they're not clapping throughout the movie, and then right when the movie started,
tried. Some people tried.
Yeah, I was just like, nope.
Me personally, I cannot stand clapping in a movie, but for certain scenes, like you said, right after Circle of Life, and then it ended, and then like the screen went blank with the Lion King title. Okay, the audience clapped. Totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I just had bad experiences. But I liked how they kind of, everyone was so excited, and I guess they clapped because it did live up to that expectation. Yeah. They were like, you know what? This is the iconic scene of Lion King. You can't screw this up, Disney. Like, you can't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, the movie is going to go downhill if you screw it up. But it did.
Yeah. They did little changes here, and it was a different singer, of course. And it was just a little... I loved it, though. I loved it so much. Let's go to ratings, ladies and gentlemen. Ratings. What is your rating, Angela? 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, 1 being the worst.
Oh, this is so hard.
I know.
I'm going to have to give it, because of the problem with the faces and emotions, I'm going to give it an 8.
Wow, that is... I thought it was going to be higher. I thought it was going to be a 9.
Wow. It would have been a 9 if Scar and Mufasa showed more emotion.
Okay.
Not to say
I agree with you there. I am going to agree with you. But here's the scene that really got me, and I'm probably going to want to rewatch it again over and over. One of the scenes, but I'll talk about the spoilers, but let me give my rating first. I'm sorry. So the rating first, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this a solid 9. I'm gonna stick to my gun. I'm gonna stick a solid 9, just because how much it cherishes me. It's biased. I call it biased, but I really did love this movie.
I'm biased too.
I love the bravery when I saw Simba and everything into that scene, especially that realistic climax of this movie when we saw the character develop. I mean, Simba. If there's not another perfect character to see character development, it's gonna be Simba. I mean, on point. Like, literally, he changes his whole lifestyle. when he leaves Pride Rock, when he leaves, because Scar forced him to take the punishment, like, oh, I killed my father or whatever, and then it just, he conflicted his emotions and everything. And to see this, I'm just like, he doesn't want to go back because he's not ready, he's not prepared to this destiny. And that's almost at a sense to where, like, almost I feel I don't know, but but so yeah, I'm gonna give this a solid 9, ladies and gentlemen. And would you recommend this movie, of course, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Disney.
Any Disney fan, regardless if you've seen the original or not, if you
support
just love
the cats.
Disney.
Raja's a cat too. He was in there too, by the way. I know he wasn't.
Definitely see it. It's definitely worth it.
Oh, I'm gonna say though, I did love the leopards in here. I love them so much. Oh no, I'm sorry, not the leopard. The cheetahs.
Oh, the little short scene where the cheetahs...
they were running in there. Oh my god, that was awesome. I love that. That was awesome.
I want to say though,
the animals. I loved every single other
as much as I loved the main cast and everything, I would say the showstopper for me was Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah,
their little jokes here and there.
That's actually the scene I'm going to talk about. But Timon and Pumbaa were really the show, and it's funny too because all the critics I saw were they all showed so much joy to Timon and Pumbaa, like they were on point. And that was the thing here. I saw an interview by Seth Rogen, and I was just like, we want to do a different take. All these characters are iconic. This movie, this story is iconic. We want to bring a new life into these characters, and
you
they
could
did.
Tell, you did, because they had some of those classic punches that Timon and Pumbaa have from the cartoon, but they added their own little humor.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was
Seth
so
Rogen,
funny.
Seth Rogen on autotune. Seth Rogen on autotune. All right, so definitely recommend this movie, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Disney lovers, every Disney lover out there. And by the way, we are annual pass holders. By the way, we just got that, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want up to date on Disney vlogs and everything. We'll be going to Disney World and we'll be posting them as we go. So I'm definitely gonna buy. I'm gonna buy the Steelbook. I'm gonna buy the Steelbook for sure. Like. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in a heartbeat. I'm gonna go Lion King all the way, guys. Not Pandora Lion King. You're crazy. That Pandora merchandise. They're not. That's too much. But so spoilers, guys. I'll be mentioning one scene. Spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. This is spoilers. So if this is spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out our other reviews, ladies and gentlemen, on our movie reviews of 2019, guys. All right. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Now I'll mention one spoiler scene. This one spoiler scene that I'm going to mention that I really did love so much that it was great. And I'm happy that the critics did mention it, and was the Timon and Pumbaa one where instead of them dancing, because obviously we're not going to see a hog, just them dancing. Yeah, warthog dancing and all. Yeah. And then he's all, yep. Like, no, this was a phenomenal Disney thing where it was, it was from the Beauty and the Beast. Oh my god, that was amazing. Where what's his name? Oh my gosh, you're so good at names.
Are you talking about Lumiere?
Yeah, Lumiere. There you go. Oh my gosh, I'll say the can. Yeah.
So
Lumiere.
yes, there's the scenes Ryan's talking about is the distraction scene where Timon and Pumbaa are supposed to distract the hyenas. Yes. So it's the whole gang can go back to Pride Rock and face Scar. And the scene that he's talking about. Is Timon and Pumbaa as their distraction is Timon starts singing "Be Our Guest" to the hyenas.
Gosh, yes,
and it's the best.
It is the best. I mean, it is phenomenal. I loved it so much. It's only what Disney could do with their multi-universe of their own when it comes to their animation / live action / remakes. I loved it so much, and it was really great. I loved it, and because you can't it's kind of hard, I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau was just like, how do we, obviously we can't have him dance, we can't have him pretend he's or we could just, because to be honest, they could have just done the exact same scene, but I loved it how they mixed it up and they made everyone laugh, and it was phenomenal.
It was completely unexpected.
It was. I was just like, what the heck are they seeing? Am I watching Beauty and the Beast? What the heck? Oh my gosh, that was great. I love that so much.
That was the favorite.
Yep.
That
Awesome.
was a good scene.
All right, yeah. Alrighty, guys. As always, I am your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Put it on the comments down below what you thought of Lion King, and also give us a thumbs up on our review. And thank you for your continued support, ladies and gentlemen. And be sure to hit that subscribe button, all right? Be sure to hit it, guys. Again, Angela, what was your rating?
8.
8. I'm a 9. All right, guys. Have yourself a wonderful day, and thank you for making us a part of it. Catch you later, guys.